It started out as a kind of a weekend thing. During the summer, we'd go down, we'd score, come back, get high, and do whatever. I went from doing heroin and cocaine on a daily basis to selling things, stealing things, even selling to my friends, and then cutting it down just to keep my addiction going.
You go from painkillers, and then your drug dealer doesn't have them, so then you escalate to heroin, you start snorting it, and then eventually maybe you get into intravenous use, which is where I found myself, and that was probably about a 6-year journey from painkillers to full-on like opioid use before I actually entered a treatment facility. Tons of debt. Drunk driving. I've driven my truck into someone's house. I was in a wheelchair. I'm using toilet water in bathrooms to fill up a syringe with drugs that I'm cooking in any bathroom I can find.
It definitely was dangerous. It definitely had a lot of trauma involved. But at the end, it was myself. By myself, walking, probably 24/7, finding ways and means to get more. Homeless, no car. I had overdosed over 3 dozen times. In fact, I wasn't allowed at a lot of people's houses because they didn't want it to happen there. Oh, I was found in my car in an overdose state many times. I was found in bathrooms many times. I was always taken to the ER, and I was always taken to jail afterwards.
My name's Ryan, and I live in Whitewater, Wisconsin.
My name is Matthew, and I live in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
My name is Lana. I'm from Madison, Wisconsin.
I'm Ken. I live in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Oh, this is my passion. This is how I give back. I'm in long-term recovery, and I've been clean for, over a decade, but I'm still connected to individuals that is actively using. And so that's an important part of my job, is listening and actually understanding when someone is struggling with substance use disorder or with opioid use disorder, to continue to support them. And so I think I'm good at supporting.
My name is Mike, and I'm from the city of Green Bay. Even this past week, I mentioned the 2 deaths that have already happened, and one was a 19-year-old girl. A 19-year-old girl who died in an apartment, and she was dead for about 4 hours until friends put her in a wheelchair. She happened to live across the street from one of our hospitals, and wheeled her across the street to the emergency room where we responded, and she was dead. It's the heartbreak of families. It's the tears. Nothing will break your heart more than the wailing of a mother who just lost a loved one.
When I came back to Illinois, I was living with a buddy of mine, and all we did was anything we could, from pills to heroin, cocaine, all kinds of things. Name it, we did it. About 8 months prior to that, him and a buddy of mine were shooting heroin, and at some point my friend had woke up, decided to get high again, and overdosed. His buddy and my buddy woke up, I couldn't tell you how long later, and my friend was on the floor blue with a needle still in his arm. That kind of sent me down a really bad path. I just didn't care anymore. I lost my sidekick, even though it had been a while since we'd seen each other. I just decided to keep getting high.
Opioids don't discriminate. They unfortunately impact all people equally. So it's a problem that plagues communities not only in the city of Green Bay, but across the state of Wisconsin.
Most recent time I was incarcerated, I was released, and I got within a distance of 1 city block of the jail, and I I had a friend that actually his parents lived there, and I would do some side work for them. So I went in their garage, I picked up their phone, and I called my drug dealer. So I made it one city block after I got released, and was on my way to getting more. And that's basically how everything I did in life went to. It was just 24 hours a day. How can I get more? There is no amount that is enough, because you just have no control. Opioid use just takes all control away from the human being.
When law enforcement shows up, they're probably going to be there before the rescue squad is, and law enforcement across the state is carrying nasal Narcan with them. When we are there, we are primarily concerned about the medical problem that is occurring. We are not necessarily concerned about finding paraphernalia, finding evidence of drug use. Now, if we do find it, we'll deal with it. But our goal is not to lock up a loved one because they clearly have an addiction. If you administer Narcan to a loved one, there is no potential legal ramifications for administering Narcan to a loved one, none at all. So that should not be a concern to any family member, to any friend, to any acquaintance when they're administering Narcan.
Here's how you can safely administer Narcan. First, you need to know if someone is having an opioid overdose. Are they alert and awake? Are they breathing at all or very slowly? Do they sound like they're snoring or gurgling? Are they limp with clammy skin? Are lips or fingertips blue? If they have any of these symptoms, call 911. Follow the directions they give you. Let them know if the person has stopped or slowed breathing. If you can't wake them by yelling their name or rubbing your knuckles on their chest, give Narcan. If they're not breathing, open their mouth and remove any objects in it. Tilt their head back. Lift their chin. Pinch their nose. Give one breath every 5 seconds and continue this for 30 seconds. If the person is still not breathing on their own, give Narcan. It's simple. Just remove the device from the package, put the tip in either nostril until your fingers touch the nose, then press the plunger. Continue giving rescue breaths. And if there's no response after 2 to 3 minutes, give Narcan again. Sometimes it takes more than one dose. Once they're breathing again, put them on their side with their top leg and arm crossed over the body to prevent choking. Then stick around until emergency help arrives. Remember to keep an eye on them constantly until emergency help arrives. They should be monitored for another 2 hours after the last dose is given. This is to make sure breathing does not slow or stop, because the dose can wear off and because the chance of another overdose is possible.
Well, in the last week of my shift, and I'm a day shift patrol sergeant, so I have the opportunity to go to critical calls quite frequently. And we ended up having 4 saves with the administration of Narcan. And in each one of those saves, we had 911 calls where loved ones, in many instances, believed that their family member was dead. In a couple of instances, they had even begun to perform CPR. But when the patrol officers arrived on scene, all the patrol officers carried the nasal Narcan with them. They were able to administer the Narcan and were able to ultimately save a life.
And so as we continue to work with individuals that's coming out of the criminal justice system, we know that statistics say individuals are more likely to overdose after leaving a correctional facility. And we have to continue to make sure that they're provided Narcan in case they may use.
And I'm here to tell families that Narcan saves lives, and Narcan does help provide their loved ones with another chance, and ultimately that next chance to get the help that they need to ultimately beat the addiction that they're unfortunately suffering from.
Luckily nowadays there's more support around this, and there's things out there that could help you, and knowing that there's Narcan out there that could help you not die and have that chance of tomorrow. I'd hope everyone does their due diligence in learning ways they can get it to, one, protect themselves and their family. Because when you're gone, they have to deal with it. And if you have kids, ma, pop, they don't want to go through that.
To me, Narcan's like a breath of life. And as long as there's breath, there's hope. And we can't help anyone when they're dead. That's the bottom line.
I would say to any family and friends of people who are incarcerated or are about to get incarcerated or are using and you know that they're using, find out how to use Narcan, get it, and keep it on you. Keep it in your house, keep it on your person, keep it in your vehicle, wherever it can be kept, because I'm telling you, a couple weeks ago there was a guy that was alive that I've sat this close to, that I did some life with for a few years, and now I see pictures of him online for his obituary and all these memories, and it's like he's dead. You don't want that to be your friend or family member. You don't want that. Just have it on hand. And I'm telling you, from a guy that did not want to get clean and never wanted to change and wanted to die a junkie, try to give it a shot. Just give it a shot. It's worth it, because I'm telling you, I used to love doing drugs, and I wouldn't sit up here and lie to you if it wasn't worth it. It's worth it. It's better than that. It's way better than that.